Good evening. So this is going to be a bit of an in-depth video. I'm going to try and get above the 2-minute mark for once in one of these videos. So here we go. So over here I have finished the work on the Samsonite building construction site. I noticed that placing the minifigs, that the bottom floor was about 1 brick too short, so I've increased the height of that by 1 brick. Just continuing round. So over here, we've got the building has now been extended out. As the last time I put it together, this area here, there was quite a large gap. So I thought if I extended the building out quite a bit, that would just fill in this gap. And this area is just going to become a plaza, and I might build like a kiosk. Maybe actually the original vintage kiosk set might just fit in there. There's a lot more stage extras now working on site. All of them have got their little hard hats on. The crane, I spent a bit of time working on that because last night's one was a bit of a rush job. So I put a counterweight on it, the edge here. I also put these cross bracing on, just to kind of bulk it up a little bit. Over here at the site office, I just come around this side. I've added more rubble in here, so it gives the impression that the contractors, which we have one over here, they're just infilling the site with more concrete, just extending that plaza out towards the castle. Our little knights here are looking slightly perplexed as to what's getting built next to them. The world has moved on around them and they haven't noticed. And down here we've got a delivery, perhaps some lunch for the builders is getting delivered by this chef here. Other things, the road plate situation. I was originally going to go for these wider road plates, but putting it together, I noticed that the road was just too wide compared to the sidewalk. So what I've decided to do is go for the old style, which has got the extra 2 bricks in. So I got a large stack of them delivered today, but unfortunately they're all really badly yellowed, as you can see. So I'm going to have to do a bit of the dipping with the hydrogen peroxide with these and just clean them up and bring them back to new. Over here, I have made a start on the harbour. So I've finally worked out the sides of the harbour, so I've kind of marked it all out with these grey bricks just to create a sort of seawall along it. Over here, again, I'm continuing with this theme of a building site going on. We've got dumper trucks in delivering rubble, so they're reclaiming the land. And these folks here are sort of looking at this strange puddle of water that's appeared in their reclaimed land. Not too sure where it's coming from. Over here, these are the bases for a bridge that's going to connect the Samsonite building to the harbour proper, and then over into the jousting area. Oops, knock that over. Over here, I've finally built my first harbour building, and yeah, there's a bit of a story behind this one, so here goes. Just let you have a little look at that to begin with. So we have our little harbour man here, we've got some cargo next to him, we've got some capstans for the ships to tie into, and of course we've got our cargo ship that's finally coming to port, and we actually have an oil tanker over here. Not sure where he's going with that. There's not a lot of room. I hope they don't collide. Over here, so this is the front of it facing the street. So the harbour building, I've worked out that with this vintage scale, the key is to go for like a 6 brick wide or 6 stud wide for the gable end, and then obviously the front you can go as large as you like. For story height, if you go for, I would say between about 4 to 5 for your first floor, and then every floor above that it's 4 bricks high. So with this one, I'll just move this out of the way. So with this one, I had a bit of trouble getting doors. And what I did was, in my box of mystery sets, I found these. Now, I think these are from like a set from the late 2000s. So they're not technically of the vintage era, but they seem to do the job really well as the only alternative, if I can find one. One moment. Was to go for either doors like this, which you need to raise up off the plate, otherwise they just hit the studs, or these very small ones, which are just too small compared to scale. So these ones work out really well, but they're not really of the era, but there's a few things, you know, there has to be a compromise now and then. Also, speaking of compromises, the roof, I've gone for this dark blue, as for some reason I have a lot of these dark blue slopes, and I thought it looks better than going for bright blue. I thought bright blue was maybe a little bit garish. I do have some of them here as well. Please hold. There we go. So yeah, that was the alternative, was to go for this or bright blue, and I thought it doesn't really work. So I'm going to compromise and go for dark blue slopes. Again, I have a lot of these dark blue slopes. I don't have a lot of these bright blue slopes, and I think it just looks better. So obviously over here we've got a small overhang for these guys. The other little compromise, especially with scaling, is doors. I don't know if you can see that quite right. These doors are obviously not the right size for these minifigs, so I might change them up to the larger size, which is this one over here, which compares to the smaller one, which is here. There we go. So I'm going to look more into the sort of the detail between these smaller doors, as I think these ones might work well for background sort of scenery sets, whereas these ones are mainly for foreground sets. Yeah, so that's really the update tonight. I'm going to be working on this tomorrow. I think tomorrow might be a vehicle day and try and, like, you know, bulk up these roads, get a bit of traffic going. Yeah, so let me know what you think, folks. I hope you enjoyed this slightly longer video. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye.